So this week we're talking about relationship repair. Every relationship has inevitably has ruptures, and it's really about how do you work through that and come to a place of repair. And Megan, this is something I feel like you specialize in, something that you do very well in our relationship, and also something I think that you really work with your clients on a lot. So can you just take us through, you wrote a blog piece about this week, kind of like the basic concept that you have around effective relational repair?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Nick. I think I'm an expert at needing relationship repair. as as you know, we have done this many times together. So and that's kind of part of it too. Like everybody makes mistakes and everybody is a kind of a bozo on the bus, right?
Hmm.
Um and in general, maybe, many of those mistakes are caused because we feel so separate from each other when actually we're all very kind of intricately linked, especially the closer relationships. But anyway, um, yeah, so I think what happens when people get mad, like something happens, there's sort of an inciting event, right? Somebody says something. I'll just
That's the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like somebody just hit you with a rock. And
Hmm.
the natural response. So what has happened is like hurt has arisen, right? But what's happened is everybody tries really quickly to get away from the hurt. So
Right.
if I say something to you and hurt your feelings, and you say to me, ouch, or you call me later or whatever, and you say, that really hurt my feelings. I want to get away from this painful feeling that we're actually both experiencing now. Both of us are very uncomfortable and we don't like it. So,
Hmm.
one of the natural things that happens is I might want to defend myself. I want to get away from it. It's not my fault. You said this or like whatever. Um, Yeah, I might, if we're really in the heat of it, and this doesn't generally happen with the two of us, but somebody can say something that hurts your feelings, and then you can quickly say something that hurts their feelings back. And this
Right.
is literally you just trying to get the pain out of your system. That's not
Hmm.
me, it's yours, right? And I think everybody can relate to this. If it happens very quickly, or sometimes we can look at that dynamic that's happening like over a conversation or even a little bit kind of through a relationship.
Right. Right. So there's like the getting the pain out of the system. And there's also, I mean, I don't know if this is the same thing or a different thing, but getting the anger out of the system. Like it feels so uncomfortable to be angry. It's like I need to kind of give this to you, right?
Exactly. Like we're uncomfortable and
Mhm.
we don't know how to deal with that discomfort very well.
Yeah, yeah. So you have that sort of basic concept, like the disagreement has begun. People kind of retreat into their rightness or their whatever. And what do you recommend? Like how can you more effectively, if you're in that place and you're just not sure how to come back together, like what is the concept?
Yeah. So in that in that place where people are defending, it's kind of like they have this border around themselves. People are very separate, right? And in couples therapy, we know this. Like so much of the time, people are working towards trying to show that they are the right one, right? Our brains always think that we are right because this is the only experience that we have, right? So we're defended and we're separate and we're right. So the work really, and this is not easy, it's kind of a big psychic muscle that we have to practice, which is starting to set yourself down, meaning can I really listen? Can I just set down my need to defend my position and realize, okay, let me just hear the other person. So this begins to kind of like lower my separation boundary. And now I'm going to just I really want to be in the space. And if I'm really deeply listening to you, Nick, then I'm going to feel you too. I'm going to start to feel you. I'm going to start to feel your feelings because, well, I'm not, a psychopath. I'm very empathetic, and most people are quite empathetic, right? So
Mm.
if you can set yourself down and sort of do what we call deep listening, which means zip the lip, zip all of these things that keep coming up. You shouldn't feel that way because, and just be there. And then once you are in that space with someone else, now you are together in the discomfort, in the pain. And I actually think that's it.
Mm. Mm.
I think that actually all the steps that come after that are sort of like icing on the cake, but I think that's the cake. Like I have let go of myself a little bit, and now I'm deeply in a space where, and you see this happen in couples therapy all the time. I I can help teach them a little bit tools for deep listening, and then you see them all of a sudden, you see them soften, and now they're together in a space. And I realized something really big has occurred, right? Does that make
Mm.
sense?
Yeah, it makes so much sense. I think that foundational concept that the pain is actually between you. It's not really one one person's or the other's, with exceptions, of course, but like typically it's in the field. And so if you can both lower your defenses and kind of be in that field together, it's more of like a working through as opposed to a passing back and forth, right?
Right. And then when you're in that space together and you're feeling, so if it's you and I'm feeling, and I'm really feeling, oh, that, and what naturally arises is, I don't want you to feel that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and that's another thing that I say with couples all the time. How do you want your partner to feel? How
Mm.
do you
Mm.
want them to feel? And what are you doing in order for that to happen, right? I mean, at any given point, but um, yeah, I don't think any of this is easy. I don't think we're really taught how to do it very well.
No, this is really the hard work. I feel like a lot of time in therapy, we're just talking about things, right? Like we're like, how do we sort this out? How do we gain insight about this? But I think really when it comes to mental health, relational health, it's like, what happens when you're in relationship and the pressure gets put on, right? Like, do you just completely retreat? Do you just get angry? Do you do something else that's anti-relational? Or can you start to, lower your guard a little bit and enter that relational space that's not so ego bound?
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes, Nick, this just takes time. Sometimes space really is needed.
Yeah.
If it's a big hurt, if it's a big flashpoint, if somebody's very triggered, like you have to be fairly calm to do this work.
Mhm.
So in our relationship, I know that there have been times where I will I will actually sit with feelings of hurt and sit with what's happening so that I kind of fully understand what's going on in me before I bring it to you.
Mhm.
It's like I won't just automatically just say, it's like I have to understand it myself. The work is always with ourselves, what's happening in me. I can't
Right.
actually fully be with your feelings until I've really been with mine.
Yeah. Yeah, that is such a hard skill. It takes so long to grow over many years, right? Like I still am in that. I still have all those things that when I get uncomfortable in a relationship, I just immediately want to put it onto the other person, or I feel like if I don't give voice to it right away, that I'm gonna somehow abandon myself and like I'm not gonna have access to that part of myself anymore. Something is gonna get split off or something. Like it feels very imperative that we deal with it quickly. And I think ultimately that's just my own um, inability to tolerate discomfort, which has improved over the years, but it's still there. It's like I am slowly getting better at that thing that you just said.
Yeah, I don't think that I don't know that we actually get better about not being uncomfortable. I think
Hmm.
what we get better at is right. It's the tolerating and not making a quick move to get out of the discomfort, right?
Hmm. 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 Yeah, it's like almost like placing the valuing the relationship as much, if not more,
Right.
than perhaps like your own ego needs, right? Your own personal needs. Yeah. And like resisting the urge to label people as like now this person has done this thing and now they're a bad person, right? Now I have to like show them that they're a bad person.
Yeah, because I mean, we talk about labels all the time. There's some good reasons for labels, but many not so good reasons for labels. Because once I say, well, you're just an asshole and you're
Mhm.
terrible at this, like that, I really have created a little file in my brain. And so now, like, whenever you do think something that's slightly asshole-ish, I'm like, well, he's an asshole. And it's like I could just say, it's like I've already solved that problem.
Right.
It's like that's done, that's a done deal. And
Right.
and now we're not even really in the moment anymore. Once if I do that.
Yeah, it reminds me, I think you say this at the end of your piece, just about like something like if you think that everyone around you is going to not make you uncomfortable, is going to be perfect, then you're in for kind of a rude awakening. I can't remember exactly what you said.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be a bumpy ride. No. Yeah, so I mean, I think a couple of the takeaways are that, I mean, relationship, strong relationship is actually created through repair, like over
Mm,
and over
mm,
repairing every repair, because actually like every one of these anger moments or issue moments is this like golden opportunity. If you can get into this space where you're feeling and listening to the other person, you're more deeply understanding them. And that's the part. So really these are opportunities just to get closer and to create a better relationship. But I know it's not easy.
thanks so much.